Welcome to everyone, guys. Well, it's time to do a recap, and honestly, it seems this was a great card. I really enjoyed, especially really enjoyed the main event of the evening. Was a great card. Really was a great card. I really enjoyed every second of it, and honestly, I got to say that this was one of the best moments I've seen in a while. Yeah, it was one of the best moments I've seen in a while, especially that main event. 10 out of 14. And just to know, I'm good for the others, but I'm not the greatest for myself. I'm actually tricky for myself. I'm not the best solution for myself as my bets were out of the 1 out of 3. Hey mate, how are you doing? Uh, the first fight was like a dream fight, man. Yasmin Jauregui destroyed Estela Nunes. Francis Marshall destroyed Marcelo Rojo. Nathan Levy outworked Genaro Valdez. Kicked off with a score of 3-3. Was a great way to start the fight, got to say. Really was a great way to kick off, to open up the event. And honestly, honestly, that's all I can say. I really enjoyed every single second of it. But then we were having ups and downs, and MJ easy money. Yeah, man, you did a great job. Then Jonathan Pierce versus Darren Elkins. I didn't expect this one to go the distance, and when I had to pick a side, I picked Elkins, which was a massive mistake though. But I was trying to risk with the underdog. But Joe Regui was on point. But then Michael Johnson versus Mark Diakisa. I placed money on Diakisa. I was expecting he was gonna shoot in. I was expecting he was gonna try to go down with those takedowns, etc. But man, it seems MJ showed superb. Hello now. It showed superb. Yes, I bet on Diakisa. 1 out of 3 were my bets. And honestly, I didn't expect, haven't seen that coming. I was pretty much convinced in the Akis, but okay, failed mission. Guida versus Holtzman. I had fight starts round 3, but I didn't see Guida winning. That was like massive upset for me. Angela Hill versus Emily Ducote fight went the distance, 5 out of 7. But again, I am not the greatest guy when it comes to myself, and you know that very well. Philip Rowe versus Nico Price, the fight didn't go the distance, but at some point, I was worried about this fight. I was really worried. It was a pathetic card. Paddy to win. Yes. What do you think of Bryce versus Ilya next week? Ilya to win. Ilya to win. Yes. Ilya Topuria to win. But on Tuesday, I will let you know about my picks because $5. $5 on each single. Actually, Philip Rao versus Nico Price, man, I was so much worried about this fight. I was so worried about this fight because when it went into round 3, Price was pacing him up, teeing him up on the feet, and then Philip Rao out of nowhere, TKO finish. I also had Eric Andrews versus Kyle Dakaus. I had fight not going the distance. Just like for Roman Dolidze versus Jack Hermanson, you've seen a great flower sweep on the end of Roman Dolidze, and you've seen a real brutality on the end of Jack Hermanson, and real brutality on the end of Roman Dolidze, who made a great sweep and finished him with a leg trapped, with a leg entangled from the back. Great finish. Also, Sergey Pavlovich versus Taito Ivasa, I made a mistake as I was thinking that Taito Ivasa was gonna win, and I placed a bet on Taito Ivasa, which didn't go well for me. Well, yeah. Do you bet on anything else? No, never. Only UFC. Mix betting, not bad. Serhii Pavlovich versus Taito Ivasa was the third miss of the night, just like Mateus Nicolau versus Matt Schnell, because I was thinking the fight was gonna go into round 3. I mean, I picked Nicolau to win, but my first pick was fight starts round 3, so technically it's a miss. So that was my fourth miss of the night, and yeah, that was all around, you know. Rafael dos Anjos, Brian Barberena. I had dos Anjos, Stephen Thompson versus Kevin Holland. 4 misses. But again, need to say Need to say, main event was brutal. I was so angry when Kevin Holland didn't win that fight, but I underestimated Wonder Boy. I haven't seen Wonder Boy. When Kevin Holland. Sorry, my fourth miss was Kevin Holland. What am I talking about? Matt Schnell versus Nicolau. I was on point. What else am I talking about? Bit confused. Now, what I need to say. I was thinking that Kevin Holland was just talking, to bring up the hype. I was thinking it was just a talk on the end of Kevin Holland. That's how I've seen everything coming. But it was not just a talk. Kevin Holland was dead ass when it comes to standing and banging with Wonderboy Thompson. And I was like, after round one, I was like, okay, maybe Kevin was joking around, etc., etc. But the problem is, no, he was not joking around. Kevin Holland was dead ass, man, and he tried to stand and bang with Wonderboy. I'll be honest, if I was his coach, I would have been furious. I would have been very, very furious of Kevin Holland. Fight by itself was brutally good, you know. Hats off to Wonderboy Thompson. Hats off to Wonderboy Thompson, but I was surprised because Kevin Holland was trying to fulfill his promise, and he really fulfilled the promise. I was like, okay, why? He didn't even try. Maybe he dragged Wonderboy once or twice to the ground. He was trying to stand and bang, then he ended up with that hand injury, and I don't know what to say, man. I was like giving him 80% to win. And then Wonderboy Thompson out of nowhere whooped his ass via kicks. And what have I seen? I've seen I've seen okay version of Kevin Holland. I mean, Kevin Holland can stand and bang, but not against Wonderboy. Everybody who chose to grapple Wonderboy scored a victory. For example, you had the case of Belal Muhammad. You had the case of Gilbert Burns, who was mixing it up. But Holland wasn't even trying to mix it up, He wasn't even trying to mix it up. So that's what am I saying. He didn't even try to mix it up. And I was so shocked with Holland's strategy. I understand that he is doing this for the fans. I understand that Holland has iron chin, etc., etc. And I understand the guy can take a beating. I'm praising his skills. But why did he chose to stand and bang with Wonderboy? That's something I will never understand. Maybe that was just the wrong tactics. Maybe he was trying to keep the crowd entertained. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I think only Kevin Holland knows what happened in that fight. It was a massive, massive shock to me. And Wonderboy kicked him to the head so many times. And Kevin Holland was like, okay, I can continue. He was like, okay, I'm fine. I said to myself, man, are you a human or Terminator? Really, Kevin Holland is a Terminator, man. Really, Kevin Holland is a Terminator for me. So, what I want to say right now, James Krause. James Krause was trying to go for easy money. And when I've seen that, I said to myself, I was thinking it's a lie, I was thinking it was a notorious lie. And I said, fine, is this real? Is this some kind of a sick joke? That was my reaction when I've read this. And I'm going to reread that news. I'm going to reread that news. Okay. So, Glory MMA fighters are barred from UFC events. I know that UFC coach is suspended, and we've seen like new developments as a potential betting scandal in UFC gets investigated. And UFC, as well as announced on Friday afternoon that the Nevada State Athletic Commission suspended coach James Crosse's license, and the fight where Derek Minner fought Shajilan Nurdambike was fixed, and Derek Minner was released from the organization. Along with the safety and health of its fighters, UFC believes there is no more important component of a professional mixed martial arts than the integrity of the sport, UFC said in a statement. Weeks prior to the Minner fight, the organization sent formal notification to all fighters and members of their teams that they and certain other defined insiders were prohibited from wagering on UFC events. This was an extension of UFC's pre-existing, since updated, fighter code of conduct as well as the recognition of various state, federal, and international laws and regulations expressly prohibiting conduct that threatens the integrity of the sport, including but not limited to insider betting based on non-public information, fight fixing, and other such misconduct. UFC will continue to take all necessary and appropriate steps to ensure compliance with and enforcement of its policies and those of the jurisdictions in which it operates. So, this announcement follows the news that gambling on UFC events had been suspended by regulators in Ontario and Alberta in Canada, and on November 5th, you've seen that Darek Mina lost to Shadjilan Nurdambiki after at least suspicious leg injury. UFC match that garnered irregular betting patterns, money poured in on Nurdambiki before the fight, even as he skyrocketed to a minus 450 favorite. Mina, who was coached by Krause, lost in the first round, and it was a doubtful leg injury. It looked at least a bit suspicious, but. And you know that Krause is known to run a betting syndicate in which he sells MMA gambling picks, acknowledged after the fight that Mina entered the bout with a knee injury. He's good, man. Heartbroken, obviously, because he's probably getting cut now, the coach wrote in a Discord channel. His knee was jacked going into the fight, but gotta pay the bills. Is what it is, I suppose. I don't know, man. Was he busted or not? I don't know whether it was an affair or not. You should have bet. No, the dog's most was obvious. Yeah, you were right about that. You were definitely right about that. Now to discuss James Krause's background. You know that. What do you think of Semko and Krause? Well, maybe there is something between them, man. I know she was accused of the affair, but I know she was accused of the affair. I understand that, but maybe there really was something between them. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Also, suspicious betting on UFC fight that ended in first round. Sparks probe, that James Krause was selling picks and ugly scene for UFC bettors happened. And coached by James Krause and Glory MMA, Darek Mina lost in first round due to an apparent pre-existing injury in the opening minutes. And Mina was injured within the moments of the fights with opponent Shadjilan Nurdambiki. It was a clear knee injury that led Mina unable to get up. And you know that UFC commentator Dominic Cruz, you know that he immediately speculated that this injury was pre-existing. And Cruz said that he probably wanted to test it out, his knee, and see how bad it was. Cruz continued. He's not even trying to get up here. What happened to Darek Mina? Plus 170, plus 330. He entered the pattern with a clear knee injury, with a clear knee injury, and a wild flood of money came in against Mina in the final hours before fight time, forcing some books to raise flags and pull the fight from betting altogether. Even as the Lions move, making Nurdambiki a massive minus 450 favorite, money still came flying on the favorite. Plenty of sportsbooks were reached out for exact betting figures, but due to the now impending investigation into this fight, they are unable to do so. Now Darek Mina is released from the promotion. But what's important is that there could have been some insider trading that was involved here. And the aforementioned Krause minors coach does run a betting syndicate operation called the 1% Club, where bettors pay him for his UFC betting advice. Whether that is actual insider trading is unknown, although the UFC recently banned athletes from betting on their fights, even if betting on themselves. And it is unclear whether the betting syndicate is against UFC rules, as he is undoubtedly raking in cash with the exorbitant amount of people pay for his sports betting picks. Krause did confirm that this was a pre-existing injury for Mina, and the UFC issued a statement on the matter, and you know that the UFC didn't like that. And like many professional sports organizations, UFC works with an independent betting integrity service to monitor wagering activity in our events. Our betting integrity partner, Donbest Sports, a leading global supplier of real-time betting data for North American sporting events, will conduct a thorough review of the facts and report its findings. At this time, we have no reason to believe either of the athletes involved in the bout or anyone associated with their teams behaved in an unethical or irresponsible manner. I don't know, man, but this is just a big. This is just a big problem in James Krause's career, and I don't know how much this investigation is going to last. I really don't know how much this investigation is going to last. And maybe he was really busted. Who knows? Maybe he was really busted. Maybe it was just a waste of time. But at the end of the day, I don't know what to think. I'm a big fan of Darek Mina. I'll be honest, I had an interview with Darek Mina, and I know that he's a nice guy. He was pretty much nice in front of the cameras, but now he's going to get a lot of negative publicity, and he probably wanted to test that injury. He didn't want to pull back, which is something that I can understand. I can really understand that somebody wants to fight to put money on the table, to put food on the table. This is acceptable. If you have money, you're going to have food. You're going to have necessary nutrients. You're going to eat. This is normal. I mean, he did what everything a normal person would do. But if there is something I don't understand, why this happened in that way, Why this happened in that way, There are spies everywhere, and if Krause really made a mistake, he made a big mistake. He really made a big mistake if he made one, and I am pretty much not a fan of those problems that are happening all over the place, that are happening every single day. Maybe he was really selling those picks. I don't know. I'm unsure whether he did something or didn't do anything. But this is going to be a huge blow if he was fishing for easy money. Maybe he earned some easy money, but what is going to happen? Yeah, Niall, go for it. What is going to happen, man, if he was really fishing for easy money and he got easy money, but if his coaching license was suspended, that's going to be a massive, massive problem. Now, every single Glory MMA fitness fighter won't be able to compete. And in the next event, there were few Glory MMA fitness fighters. And what's going to happen with everybody who were coached by James Krause? Are we going to see some rotations? Are we going to see somebody who is not going to fight under James Krause's Glory MMA and fitness banner? That's a big problem. That's a big blow to the UFC, because those guys, those girls, they really deserve to fight, and now fighters are going to pay the price for the scandal. I'm not saying Krause is innocent or guilty. I'm not going to say anything until we see the results of investigation, because it would have been rude on my end. Can you tell me the odds of first 3 fights for next week and your predictions, please? Yeah, I can take a look. That's not going to be a problem. I can take a look. First 3 fights. Let me see. Cameron Simon. I think Cameron Simon is going to win. I have no distance for that fight, but Cameron Simon versus Steven Kozlov should be, I can't call it a slam dunk, but I believe it's going to be a victory for Cameron Simon. Let me see who else is fighting. I don't have the whole fight cards. I think it should be a slam dunk. I didn't make a breakdown. I'm going to make it on Tuesday, but let's see. Yeah, Blaovic versus Ankalaev. Got to remind me of that. TJ Brown versus Eric Silva. I'm unsure of that fight. I don't know. Maybe Eric Silva. So unsure, man. Eric Silva is a slight favorite. I'm going to go with fight starts round 3 in that one, probably. Daniel Da Silva, Vinicius Salvador. Another tricky fight to play, but I think Salvador is a favorite for a reason, if you ask me. I'm going to do a detailed research on that fight, and I'm going to let you know. But from what I've seen, I do believe that Vinicius Salvador with minus 205 should be a decent piece of play. I do believe he should be a decent piece of play right now. Yeah, and what else could be okay for the next week? Well, let me take a look. Alexander Hernandez versus Billy Carantillo. This might go all the way. I think fight starts round 3 is a great pick, but I would try to push my luck with Carantillo, because this is his to be or not to be chance. Joaquin Buckley versus Chris Curtis. I have no distance, but if I must lean aside, I would definitely go with Chris Curtis. Ovin St. Preux versus Antonio Trocoli. Another no distance, but I believe Trocoli is younger, hungrier. Dal Kalungiambula versus Edmund Shabazian, the trickiest fight on the card. Man, the trickiest fight on the card. I don't know what to think. Man. This is going to be a big fest. I don't know. I'll probably lean Shabazian at this moment of point, but only I'm saying I would. Jay Perrin versus Raul Rosas Jr. Man, we got a young talented kiddo. I would like to see Rosas winning. I'm just saying that I would like to see Rosas winning. Minus 230. against Jay Perrin. Maybe he's a bit overrated. He's still a kiddo, but he's a talented kiddo. Chris Dakos versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Somebody is going to sleep. No distance in that fight. Ilya Topuria to win probably. Dricus du Plessis probably gonna annihilate Darren Till. Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Big fan of Lawler, but I see Ponzinibbio winning that one. Jared Gordon versus Paddy Pimblett. Probably going with Paddy Pimblett to win. And Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Since this is a 5-rounder, I would probably win with Magomed Ankalaev. And I'm not saying this is going to come to fruition or not. Paddy is okay odds because he'll definitely win. Minus 200. How much would be? I can't see the odds for Paddy submission, but I do believe that Paddy submission might actually be a decent piece of play. If you ask me, I do believe that Paddy submission could have been a decent piece of play. And I definitely agree with that. No, I definitely agree with that aspect of the game, and I do agree that Paddy might actually pull the plug. I do believe that Jared Gordon is technically a good matchup for Paddy. I'm gonna be live for 10 more minutes because I need to get some sleep. So please shoot in with questions, proceed. We can chit chat, we can hang around. I mean, hanging around with the boys is one of the ways to relax, and that's something that pretty much keeps me relaxed all day long. You know, that's really something that pretty much keeps me relaxed all day long. And I could make UFC list. Yeah, I could make UFC lists when I already have time. Let me see. Yeah, I could do it right now. Magomed Ankalaev. Yeah, I'm gonna make UFC lists. Yeah, thank you now. Thank you. I'm gonna make those UFC lists. I'm having some time right now. Okay, new playlist. Yeah, I'm gonna make a new playlist with all the fights, with all predictions, so you can easily navigate. I believe you're gonna navigate through that easily. I'm gonna give you every single fight. So I believe Magomed Ankalaev gonna win that one, and yeah, I'm just gonna do some rotations. I'm just gonna do some additional stuff. But at the end of the day, it all comes to the same thing, you know. We want. I want to help you. I mean, I'm horrible for myself. I know that I'm horrible for myself, but maybe I'm better. Maybe I'm good for others. No, maybe I'm good for others. Maybe I can help other people get some money. In most cases, I'm good for others and I'm horrible for myself. But this is cursed, man. This is cursed, but I got used to it. No, got pretty much used to it. Got pretty much used to it being bad for myself and being good for the others. So it's okay, you know. It's really much okay. I'm gonna make this list right now when I'm already hanging around live. Then I got Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Robbie Lawler versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I'm leaning Ponzi to win that fight. Yeah, I remember my picks. I remember the majority of them, but I need to do a detailed analysis. Okay. When I'm already live, I can help you a bit. Yeah, you will be able to watch my UFC 282 playlist until I don't get too sleepy for that. But yeah, I'm gonna do some slight modifications, some slight rotations. I'm gonna do a breakdown fight by fight. Dricus du Plessis versus Darren Till. I've got no distance in that fight, but I think Dricus is gonna piss him up. I do believe Dricus is gonna destroy this guy, but you know, I always like to go with the safer pick, and safer picks are Defo, Dricus. Dricus like not to go the distance. What odds is Paddy plus Ankalaev plus Bryce? I don't know. I will have to check that. 1 second. Just to do something. Some quick research. Paddy is minus 200. Bryce is Paddy is minus 200. 1 second. Hold on. Paddy is minus 200. Bryce is where is Bryce Mitchell? No odds for Bryce. Why there are no odds for Bryce? Ankalaev. Ankalaev is minus 240. And where is Bryce Mitchell? Ilya Topuria minus 150. Let me see Ankalaev. Ankalaev is gonna be a big favorite. Ankalaev. Yeah, very big favorite. There you go, your odds. Let me see which is the next fight where I stopped. I stopped with Rikus Duplessis, Bryce Mitchell versus Ilya Topuria. Yeah, not going the distance, but if I must pick a side, I'm gonna go with Topuria to win. And the next fight, we're heading to the prelims. Dakos versus Rosenstrike. If all those fights come to fruition, I mean, his coaching license was suspended in Nevada. As much as I know, this event is not taking place in Nevada. I don't know, this is just too big scandal. It's too big scandal, man. Jay Perry and Raul Rosas Jr. That's a tricky fight. Plus 1.5 is my pick. And it makes sense. To some point, it makes sense. He's fighting a young gun. Maybe young gun is going to be under huge pressure. You never know. Maybe he was pushed to the lines too early, but who knows? Maybe that guy is such a big talent. You never know, with those young guns, with those young lions. You never know. Lungiambula. Edmund Shabazian versus Dalka Lungiambula. Fight starts round 3. That's a nice piece of play, if you ask on my end. Very much of a nice piece of play. Dude, the Leeds is beast. Yes, the Leeds is beast. I agree, man. The Leeds is a real beast. I definitely agree with that. I agree with every aspect of that game. The Leeds is a real beast, true. Vincent Prue versus Antonio Trocoli. I also have another no distance. Yeah, Vincent Prue versus Antonio Trocoli. I've got Antonio Trocoli to win in that fight. I know this sounds a bit off, but I do have a feeling that Antonio Trocoli gonna pull this out. I believe he's gonna pull the plug on Vincent Prue. He's washed, old. I don't know how he can win, unless it's some kind of a lucky full choke or something like that. Then we're gonna go into the preliminary card: Joaquin Buckley versus Chris Curtis. Hello, what's up? Hello, Mido, how are you? Great, plus money on him once again. Awesome. What do you think about Hamzat versus him? Oh, I believe he would stand chances against Hamzat. I'm dead ass about that. I do believe he would stand chances against Hamzat. Joaquin Buckley versus Chris Curtis. Yeah, just 5 more fights, then I'm gonna discuss normally. Over 2.5. That sounds like a decent piece of play. Really much, but if I must pick a side, I would go with Chris Curtis. I think it Burn and knock him down. Roman can knock him out cold. Yes, of course. Roman is great on the feet. And he's even better on the ground. Have you seen that brutal flower sweep on the end of Roman Dolidze? That flower sweep on the end of Roman Dolidze was brutal. I haven't seen, I haven't never tried out a flower sweep, but I've only seen it in tutorials. But that flower sweep against such a high level wrestler like Jack Hermanson, it was an epic move. It really was an epic move, and yeah, it really was an epic move. Roman is very bad matchup for Kamzat. Roman is very bad matchup for anybody with that kind of scrambling skills. He's a really, really bad matchup for anybody. I just hope they are not going to let him return too early. But I do believe he's got great chances. I do believe they're going to pair Roman now with some high-level opponents, so Roman can get the treatment he deserves. I definitely think he doesn't get enough of the treatment. I don't think he gets enough of the recognition, and I do believe they should give him a better opponent. TJ Brown versus Eric Silva. Now, I'm not much confident into TJ Brown versus Eric Silva. I picked Eric Silva to win, but this is more of a lucky pick. If you listen to my breakdown, my prediction, my picks, you will see this is more a lucky pick because I was pretty much unsure what to think of that fight, and these two guys are pretty much evenly matched, and as well as you see, the line is close, very super close. Hamzat can hang with top tier talent. His best chance is against Colby. Yep, you are right about the best chance against Colby. Middle, you are right about that. You are definitely right about that. Alright, 2 more fights to go, then I'm gonna fully chat with you. Daniel da Silva versus Vinicius Salvador. Oh, I don't have that fight. I will have to make a record early tomorrow. Daniel da Silva versus Vinicius Salvador. I don't have that fight recorded. Okay, Daniel da Silva, Vinicius Salvador. Okay, I am recording it tomorrow. And Steven Kozlov versus Cameron Simon. But if I must pick a side, I would probably lean Vinicius Salvador. But I'm going to record that prediction tomorrow. And Simon, I have not going the distance, but I'm gonna go with Cameron Simon to win. But I promise I will record that tomorrow morning as soon as I get up. That's one and only fight I don't have right now recorded, but it's gonna be recorded as soon as my time allows, which is going to be tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning I'm also going to record the Bellator prediction, as well as you know. So I've got 13 out of 14 bouts. And tomorrow morning, I'm gonna have 14 out of 14 bouts. Vinicius Salvador bout is gonna be shown to you. Gonna be shown how I believe that fight is gonna go. I think Colby is easier fight for Khamzat than Roman. No KO power, no subs. You're right about that. I think Khamzat got that one. Well, we will see. So, one more fight. Daniel da Silva versus Vinicius Salvador. It will be tomorrow morning. I just want to announce that I'm going to make some slight changes to my channel, and I'm going to give you everything I believe is going to happen. So there is nothing to hide from my fans. Everybody who wants to support the channel, you can join for like $2, which is, $2 is the smallest price I could have put. They didn't let me put smaller price. I would have, but they didn't let me. So if you want to support the channel or whatever. But this is all your personal preference. I'm a humble guy. I'm trying to help everybody. I want to see the Liza Branson agree. I would like to see it too. Yeah, Hamzat wins against Colby, but no one else in the top guys there. Belal would beat him, Kamaru would destroy him. I'm not sure about how Leon will do, but he could outpoint him. Yeah, and just to know, tomorrow morning I'm going to record Daniel Da Silva versus Vinicius Salvador, and I'm going to make some Bellator predictions because I must cover the news early on Monday. Hmm. I must cover that news pretty much early on Monday, so I need to inform you that those early news on Monday are going to give me a bit of a hard time, but I will finish that Monday morning, and I'll finish my reports Monday morning, and then late Monday, it's going to be a suicide for me because I must write some very boring topics. Monday is always very, very hard time. Who is going to win, Luis Alberto Lopez or Josh Warrington? Boxing. I think I'm going to go with Josh Warrington. Yeah, I know what is that fight. I think I'm going to go with Josh Warrington. I'm making boxing predictions always in the week of the fight. So let me take a look right now. What do we have next weekend? Next weekend, let me see. Terence Crawford, David Avanesian. Fight not going the distance, but I am going to give advantage to Crawford. Teofimo Lopez, Sandor Martin, Teofimo to win. Jared Anderson, Jerry Forrest, so tough fight to call. Xander Zayas versus Alexis Salazar. Pay attention to that fight. Gonna be an epic one. Kishon Davis versus Juan Carlos Burgos. I'm looking forward to that one. Jahi Tucker is going to destroy Ivan Pamjic. That's all I can say right now. Joe Ward should be better than Frederick Julan. Josh Warrington versus Luis Alberto Lopez. I do think Warrington is going to have the advantage. Ebony Bridges versus Shannon O'Connell. I do believe that fight will go the distance, but I think Bridges is going to edge her out. Michael Conlon versus Karim Guerfi. I think Conlon is going to have some advantage in that fight. Tyrone McKenna versus Liam Taylor. I'm gonna lean McKenna. Graham McCormack versus Fergus Quinn. That's a tricky fight to call. That's a tricky fight to pick. But from what I've seen, I think I'm gonna go with McCormack. Also, we've got something on Tuesday. Naoya Inoue versus Paul Butler. I'm going to go with Naoya Inoue. Also, Yoshiki Takei versus Bruno Tarimo, going with Takei or over 8.5. Andy Hiraoka versus Min Ho Young. I think Andy Hiraoka going to win. And these are basically all the boxing picks I could have said. Tai versus Pavlovich was brutal. Yeah, good luck. Thank you, man. Why Warrington? He has no power versus Luis Alberto Lopez. Potentially with decision. That's how I believe. I think Warrington is having better cardio. Are you betting next card? Of course, I'm betting every single UFC card. Hamzat isn't too big, he just doesn't have the discipline to make weight. Hamzat looks like a smurf compared to Alex Pereira. I'm always betting on UFC, but I know that on Thursday, I place my picks on Thursday, so I don't place them earlier. Compared to Alex, even Easy looks small. Dude is heavyweight. Yeah, dude is heavyweight who cuts to middleweight. That's true. Dude is a heavyweight who cuts to middleweight. Yeah, you can call the dude a heavyweight who cuts to middleweight. I definitely agree with that. Would you say there is better confident picks on next card, easier to predict? Yes, probably yes. I think there are way more confident picks on the next card. What do you think about Perrin versus this kid? Over 1.5 is my pick, but if I must pick a side, I would probably go with the talented kid. I know he might be thrown to the lions too early while he was still young, but I do believe he's got the chances. I do believe he's got the skills, and I actually see that kid pulling out the plug. I do think that kid is way better in BJJ than Jay Perrin. I think Perrin will box his head off. Well, if Perrin keeps the fight standing, he's going to have all the chances of this world. Another nice pick for that fight would be fight not going the distance because That kid is better in scrambles, ground game, etc. But Perrin is better in the stand-up, so this is like a fight. Who took him down and called him there? That's a good question. I don't remember that somebody did. I really don't remember that somebody did. He has a great takedown defense. Yes, he does. Where are you going to have a fight? Is your shoulder still healing? Yeah, it's still healing. How long will that take? Probably a month or so. I don't know. If I have a fight, it's probably gonna be in Serbia against some influencer, TikToker, or whatever. But I need to prepare myself pretty much well in the first place. I mean, I'm in negotiations. I'm negotiating, but it doesn't have to mean that they are going to accept that fight. Because I don't want to fight a real fighter for the first fight. I would like to go with some amateur and to see how it goes. But if I can do some freak fight, that could be awesome. But TikTokers here, social media guys, they're only strong with words here, you know. I have a guy who is trying to negotiate, trying to find me a decent opponent to fight, but everybody are turning me down, everybody rejecting because those social media stars, they only know to talk and they are shitty in their pants when they see me because I'm training regularly. I'm not a dumbass who doesn't know to fight. I'm not a dumbass who doesn't know to throw a strike, and I'm still learning to grapple. Vlad, you need to start your MMA career now. Well, Vlad is training. I plan to do some kind of a freak fight or at least an amateur fight with some kind of a social media guy or a YouTuber or I don't know. I'm trying to find somebody. I have a guy who is searching for that. I'm into some kind of negotiations, but unfortunately, the problem with that is the fact that everybody is turning me down because they don't consider me seriously. They think I'm just a TikTok boy or a YouTube boy who just talks, who knows nothing, and that's not the truth. I know something. I'm not a good wrestler, but I have good scrambles. I have pretty good takedown defense. Yesterday on the training session, I defended 7 out of 8 takedown attempts. So this is successful. When you defend 7 out of 8 takedown attempts, this is considered successful. And yesterday in the training session, I was able to drag one guy to the ground for the first time, which I was unable pretty much to do so. But I need to train wrestling. I'm focusing now my training sessions on wrestling, exclusively on wrestling and grappling. That is one and only. You can get a contract for PFL. Nah, PFL is too strong for me. I need something like a freak fight, man. You know, I'm a YouTuber. I need a freak fight. Some kind of freak fight with some other guy. That is something I need in my life. And one of my friends is negotiating. He's trying to fish for the opponent, but we will see whether I'm going to get a medical clearance because to fight in that organization, I need a medical clearance. And with my diagnosis, it's hard to get a medical clearance. So we need to find a doctor who is going to sign that medical clearance, which is not going to be an easy way to go. That's number one. And number two obstacle is people don't want to fight me because they believe I'm just a clown. They don't get me seriously. And as soon as I piss some of those clowns up, they're probably going to take me seriously. They're probably going to see that I'm not just a bum who doesn't know to strike. That I'm not just a bum who cannot hit a shot. But you know, this is Balkan Peninsula. Like they don't have much of a freak fight. They don't. Yeah, game over. They don't like freak fights and they think, you know, when one of the TikTokers, 6 months, diagnosis of what? Post-traumatic stress disorder, if you know what is that. And with post-traumatic stress disorder, it's very hard to get a license for fighting. Doctors don't like to approve guys with PTSD for fighting. So it could be tricky to get that license in the first place, but I will try. But I cannot promise that I will get that license because in my state, if you have PTSD, it's very hard to get a fighting license, and I'm diagnosed with PTSD. That's problem number one. Problem number two, when I had to fight, when I was offered to fight one TikToker like 6 months ago, he came to our gym, came to our dojo, he did a sparring session with one of my teammates. And when he should have fought me, I was in the full equipment, I put my gloves on, I put my shin guards on, groin guard, and other things. And you know what he did? He pulled out. He said, I was thinking that Vladimir doesn't know to fight. And I was like, what? He said, I'm pulling out. I don't want to fight you. I'm like, I was just joking around. How did you get PTSD? I got my PTSD probably from I was having some traumas in the student days. I don't know. It's The reason they mentioned me, it's pretty much unusual. They believe I was having some kind of a big trauma, etc. But I left my family in 2014 because they were trying to force me to marry to a girl I didn't like, and I was heavily rejected by the family. I was living alone, haven't had contact with anybody for over a year. It was a very harsh period of life for me. But I assume that's how I got it, or it was some kind of trauma. I don't know. When I asked the psychiatrist, they gave me undisclosed reasons. So I don't know what exactly is the reason, but I have that diagnosis, and that's a problem. When you want to get a fighting license, that can be a really big problem. I mean, there is that guy who fights with one hand, and then there is also Michael Bisping who fought with one eye. PTSD shouldn't be a problem, I think. Well, in my state, it is a big problem. If you live in Serbia and have PTSD, you have 10% of chances to get license for fighting. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Well, it happens. It happens. I mean, psychological issues are normal today. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody can fall into depression. Everybody can have anxiety, but it happens. It happens to everybody. But PTSD is a serious, man. And I was also having hallucinations. I'm also taking meds not to have hallucinations. And when you go to a board to approve you to fight with all those medical stuff, you have 10% of chances to get a fight license for the fighting. And I'm not against that license. If I get it, let's go, man. But I'm telling you, my coach is also telling me that I don't have much of a chances to get that license, but he's willing to try. He's willing to try. He's willing to try because he knows I need that because of my popularity, because of my population. And I made an agreement with my coach to visit only wrestling classes, to forget about striking unless when I'm on sparring sessions. I will forget about striking unless I'm on sparring sessions. And I made an agreement with my coach to focus strictly on grappling. So on grappling and wrestling. Yeah, I used to have a lot of mental issues too, though I worked things out. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, maybe your state has different rule set. I don't know how is the situation going out in Jordan, because maybe you have different rules for mental health. I don't know. It depends from state to state. But in my state, if you have PTSD, you have 10% of chances to get a fighting license. And if you have PTSD combined with the beginning of, I believe they call it acute psychosis or something like that, not sure, your chances of getting fighting license are going down. So I hope you get that license. I want to get it, man. Listen, I would gladly fight some YouTuber, some TikToker for the beginning. So why not, man? I mean, why not? I've got nothing against it. I'm not a guy who's gonna go trash talk, disrespect people. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just going to step inside the octagon and showcase my skills. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. I mean, who cares? It's just a fight. Kick off with an amateur fight, and if it goes well, I never told anyone about my problems and kept it to myself. Never went to a therapist or mental doctors. No one knows about it. It's almost never existed. Well, I had to go because I was dangerous for people that were surrounding me. I was having hallucinations. I was seeing people. I was seeing people that were not real. I was having some really, really lucid hallucinations and I had to go. So they prescribed me some meds for that. But now I'm feeling better, I haven't had hallucinations for like 4 months and I'm really feeling better. I'm not gonna lie to you. My sleep quality is now so. It used to be very good, but it's okay. I mean, I don't care. Girls are rejecting me because of that, but I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, at the end of the day, prostitution is illegal in Serbia, but it's legal in Bulgaria. So I can travel to Bulgaria and pay a hooker. So why would I need, if I can have a normal relationship, I can. If not, I can go travel to Bulgaria and pay a hooker. So I have no problem against it. The only problem is getting that fighting license. Like traveling to Bulgaria is only 400 kilometers away. It's not like I'm not going to the other end of the world, and Bulgaria is my state. I mean, I was born there. This is literally my state. I can enjoy. Everybody can find a way to enjoy. Depends on where you live, though. But if Serbia doesn't give me what I want, Bulgaria will. So, technically, I have good chances. I have good chances, but the problem is that fucking license, man. That's something that scares the shit out of me because I have only fucking 10% of chances to get that fucking license, and I would really like to get it one day. It's great to hear that you are getting better. I think you can get that license. I also hope, man. Hope is the last to die. Is the last one to die. You know, I'm trying to stay positive every single day. I mean, I don't know. You are not following me for a very long period of time, but I've been through the worst period of my life. You appeared a bit later, but when I was in the worst period of my life, my supporters stood against me. They offered me hand. They gave me help. They were really being with me. I got a lot of supporting messages, and that really meant a lot to me. That really meant a lot to me because. When you have support all over the place, it means I didn't get support in my family because of that. I mean, now I get it, but in the beginning, they were thinking that I was making everything up, that I was lying, because it's anatomic. In my state, for example, if you have those kind of problems, people are going to look at you like you're some kind of a weirdo. They are pretty much narrow-minded. They are very much traditional. And yes, I'm new. Yeah, I know you're a new subscriber, but people who follow me for over a year, they know that I've been through the worst periods of my life. And now I'm better. Now I'm recovering. Now everything is looking better, but I'm just scared about getting that license because when you go to proceed for that license, they have access to all your examinations, and that's something you cannot hide in my state. It's impossible to hide it. So I'm probably gonna undergo some kind of mental analysis, personality tests, and you know how it goes. But I'm not a guy. I mean, I don't have hallucinations for 4 months already. I'm feeling better. I'm not gonna lie. I could just cry here and pretend that I'm feeling bad, but I'm feeling better, man. This community is very healthy. This is actually a very healthy place. Now, I've heard many people who are saying that the MMA guru fans are toxic. No, they are not toxic. They are not toxic towards me. I mean, maybe they are toxic towards others, but MMA guru fans are very supportive towards me. Hmm. And that's why. Because I'm honest. I'm always honest. I always say what I think. And I'm not like, oh, I'm a company, man. I can say this, I can say that. I can say whatever I want, man. As long as I don't break YouTube rules. And of course, I'm not going to break them. I'm just a guy who was having a hard time because of the job I chose. I intentionally chose this job. I got sponsorship, and that was something prior to the COVID era. Prior to the COVID era, I've got an opportunity to grind it out. I got an opportunity to fight for myself. So why would I miss that kind of the opportunity? I mean, only a fool could miss it. Why would I miss it? It was COVID year. I wouldn't like to be released out of the. I didn't want to get evicted from my condo, but now that condo is mine. You should try and get it as soon as possible, though. You seem to have recovered from whatever you were going through. Well, I'm better. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm better. I'm going to apply for that. I need to visit the doctor. I have examination in 3 weeks. So I have examination for New Year, and I will let you know how did the examination go. So I can let you know. I mean, I'm not ashamed of that. This is not an anthemic topic because you are not from Serbia. In Serbia, this is an anthemic topic. This is like, look at this idiot. But this is world, man. You are all fighters. You have fighting experience. You know how it looks like. I mean, keeping problems to yourself, it can be the worst thing you can do. And I'm telling from my own personal experience, it could be the worst thing you can do because if you're keeping your problems to yourself, one day it's gonna ricochet over your head. Oh, thank you, man. Good luck to you too. I hope you said that you resolved your own issues, demons, or whatever. But I hope that I'm gonna get that fucking license. But I assume you know what I assume is going to happen. They are probably going to reject me once or twice. In the best case scenario, they are going to reject me once or twice. That's the best case scenario. But in the worst case scenario, they can reject me forever. Yeah, I know it's very hard, but in the worst case scenario, they can reject me forever. In the best case scenario, they can reject me once, twice, and maybe I come third time, and they're going to say, all right, you're annoying, there you go. There is that kind of the opportunity too. So I'll be pretty much honest with you. There is also that kind of the opportunity because a schizophrenic, I mean, they think I'm schizophrenic, is not allowed to participate in a competition. You know that very well. Fire, Marshall is here to take over. Oh, let's go. Marshall is here to take over. I agree with that, Charles Barkley. But, I'm not ashamed of my diagnosis. I can share it with the rest of the world. I can share it with my fans because I love you all. I mean, at least you understand me. My fans understand me. I mean, you're not narrow-minded idiots like these guys here. And my teammates understand me. My teammates from Achille MMA, they also understand me. And they have never said anything bad about my diagnosis. They're like, okay, you respect the rules. You train with us. You're doing a great job. And they are doing a great job. We're like family united. I can only say positive things about my teammates. We progressed together. I learned a lot of new things. But yeah, this shoulder is still fucking me up. But it's okay. It's better, you see. I have the whole amplitude now, but it still hurts. For example, I cannot do Kimura sweep over this shoulder. I can do over this shoulder, but I tried Kimura sweep over this shoulder and I was unable to because it's still... I don't understand it. In the country I'm living in, if you say that you have a mental issue, they take it as if you are retarded or something. People use it as an insult. Well, that's unfair, man, because I am 100% sure that you are not retarded because you are acting like a normal person, so you can't be retarded. I mean, in my state, it's pretty much similar situation, but you are acting like a normal person and you understand MMA, so you cannot be retarded. It's senseless. It's pointless. Kevin Holland has a black belt, right? Yes, he does. Why he no use it? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's $1 million question. I was also shocked. I'm not talking about myself, but in general, we are both normal people. Yeah, I know. But in my topic, in my state, it's very like people are going to make fun of you. It's like anthemic. It's like anthemic. It's like people are too traditional here, and it annoys me, man. I hate too much of a tradition. I mean, maybe your state is more stricter than mine. I don't know. I have never been to Jordan, but Kevin was saying the whole time that he wants to stand up fight. Yes, he wants. And he took part in a stand-up fight, so he fulfilled his promise. Kevin Defo fulfilled his promise, and I must say hats off for what he did. I must say hats off for his actions. That's what he did. He really fulfilled the promise. And I'm having some sleeping disorder, but that sleeping disorder can be resolved with meds. But these meds are pretty much okay, and nobody's going to question your fighting license because of sleeping meds. Sleeping meds are not problems. Problems are PTSD meds and schizophrenia meds. That is the problem. But sleeping meds are not a problem. You can fight with sleeping meds. So then he was shooting takedowns after Wonderboy schooled him. Yeah, he was shooting for takedowns, man, in round 3. He was shooting for takedowns in round 3. I mean, was it pretty much pointless? I don't know, round 3, round 4. Yeah, Jordan is much more traditional than European countries. Well, then you're in a big trouble, man, because you sound like a very normal person. And it seems you live in a very, very narrow-minded society, man. I mean, I'm not insulting your state. Don't get it personal, but I don't like anatomic and traditional stuff. It's not me. I support USA. You are lagging. My internet is fine. Sorry. Is it okay now? My internet speed is fine. Let me do a speed test. My speed test says internet is fine. It's very quick internet. It says connection is very fast. It's good. Yes. Maybe it was just a temporary lag. Alright, guys, I would stay a bit more with you. You stopped lagging. Oh, thank you. Just to say, now I need to go to get some sleep because I haven't slept much of a previous night. I slept only 4 hours. Maybe it was me, my bad. It happens. Just want to tell you that tomorrow I don't know whether I will go live or not, but on Tuesday I will announce which time. On Tuesday I will do UFC 282 breakdown. Probably something like evening time. I will try evening time because I don't train on Thursday. Tomorrow I'm going to training. I'm doing transitions and probably I won't be having time to go live, but on Thursday we are going live for sure. On Wednesday I will try to go live because of Bellator. Yeah, let's go, Jan. And for other days I'm not sure. On Friday I'm going live as expected, and of course on Saturday. Good night, nice conversation. Thank you too, Medo. Thank you too. Have a great day, everyone. Night.